Yeah, Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your boy John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go, with my boy Barry. What's good, Barry?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Doing well, and and blessed to being excited as always. Got another great episode coming up for you guys. So yeah, we are on to episode 58.
Episode 58, and obviously Vlad is not joining us today, for a second week, but he's good. You know what I mean? We'll see Vlad soon. We miss you, dog. You know what I mean? But we gotta get this.
Miss you, man.
You know what I mean? We gotta get this episode 58 going on, man.
Right. We'll hold it down for sure. But yeah, hopefully he's back with this soon. I have a good feeling he would be. So definitely wish him nothing but the best, and hopefully his situation continues to get better. It's heading in the right direction. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing him again here.
Yes, sir. So 58, man, episode 58. I was looking and I seen some guys, like a Jack Lambert. You know what I mean? I saw a Derek Thomas.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So those two guys are some giants in the game.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then we have Von Miller.
Von Miller, yes. Super Bowl. What's that? 2015 MVP.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Against Cam Newton.
Yeah, exactly.
Our favorite quarterback.
Speak for yourself on that one. I'm not so sure he's like too much around, these parts, Boston, New England, but nonetheless, another great and player and future Hall of Famer without question.
No doubt.
Embedded with the best linebackers to ever.
I thought he was gonna get cut in the offseason because there was like rumors that they might. Yeah, he would be like one of those, guys that get cut. So I'm curious to see if that's actually gonna happen.
Oh. That's weird. That's interesting. I didn't hear anything about that, but hopefully he doesn't get cut. And if he does, I'm sure there'll be
somebody will pick him up
all over him. Right.
Somebody like the Bucks.
Yeah, that's true. Or some contender,
Kansas
some Super Bowl
City
contender. Yeah, I don't know if you go there because that's a division rival and stuff. So in the AFC West, so I'm not.
That's sure Patrick Mahomes.
That's true, but you're right. That'd be pretty pretty messed up for him to go over there. After being all those years in Denver and being a rival of the Chiefs.
It's not personal. Them. It's not personal. It's business.
I guess you could say that. You're right.
But you know what?
You got to do, what's best for you at the end of the day and best for your career. So
right. But you know what? I was thinking with the thought that maybe he wants to go there to win a Super Bowl, but he's won a Super Bowl, so
maybe he wants another one. Maybe he's not happy and satisfied with just one.
What I'm saying is I can see like your point. That would factor more for me if I've already won a Super Bowl as opposed to I haven't won one, so I have to like go to somebody like Kansas City because they have a good chance of going back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, most definitely, absolutely. I could. No, that certainly makes sense without question.
Yeah.
Another 58 would be, I don't know if you remember him, Jonathan Papelbon from the Red Sox.
Yes, that one of our favorite closers all time around here. He was a popular guy, in the Red Sox for sure.
Right.
Another guy.
Go ahead.
Another guy that's not known much, very well, but hopefully he makes a splash because he played sparingly last year, but when he did some good things. Anthony Jennings from the Patriots, he was a rookie
Yes,
linebacker
yes,
last year. He came on late and was doing some
yes.
things.
Yeah, he was absolutely, and I even forgot that he's number 58. I thought he was a different number, but that's a
Yeah,
good call on that one. I like that one. Yeah, no, he didn't really play that much last year, but when he did, he was certainly a
he
good
had some
player,
hustle to
and
him.
right, absolutely. He definitely did well for the times that he was on the field. So hopefully in his second year, with the year under his system, he's able to play better and have a bigger role. I mean, we do
Hmm.
have more depth with linebackers, so we'll see
A
how
lot
much.
more depth.
Right. We'll see how much he plays, but hopefully he has a better year in his second in the his sophomore year in the NFL than his rookie year. So, we'll see how that goes. But definitely shout out to all the 58s for sure. That's a
You got
pretty good
anybody
number
else?
and a pretty good place. So the other person I had was, I don't know if you know who this is, Chris Letang. He's a hockey player that plays for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I definitely don't know who that is,
yeah,
but
I'm sure because I know you're not really a hockey guy, so
well, not
I'm not
even that. It's like on the
surprised.
Penguins. Like I definitely don't know who's on the Penguins type. Other
Sidney
than like
Crosby.
Sidney
I'm
Crosby. That's the only
right.
one. You
I'm
know what I
sure
mean?
you
Like
definitely heard of him.
yeah,
He's
hmm
one of the more popular players in the NHL, right?
yeah.
One of the faces of the league. So I mean,
Now is
everybody
is he gonna
knows
be a
him.
Hall of Famer?
Who's Sidney Crosby?
Yeah.
He should be absolutely.
Okay.
No, I
That
definitely
was a
think he
serious
will be.
question. I'm like,
Yeah, no, he will certainly be a Hall of Famer one day
hmm
when his time comes to, get, elected to the Hall of Fame. He'll definitely be there, no doubt.
All right. So episode 58, man. Before we get on to what we do, make sure if you're watching this video, you're subscribing to the channel. You know what I mean? Fact is, like 88% of the people that watch the videos don't click that subscribe button. So make sure you're doing that. And you can please follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, profans_sports. We're on Twitter at ProFanSports. We're on Facebook.com/ProFanSports. And of course, we're on YouTube.com/ProFanSports. So make sure you're pushing the notification to get our videos and sharing and commenting because that helps us out. And as always, we're going to be, today we're starting with the NFL, and then we'll get into the NBA, and then MLB, NHL, and then B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week for sure. So let's get to it, though. NFL news, man. The draft is on the 29th, which is next week. Actually this week, which is this week.
Yeah,
So
it's officially draft week.
mhm,
Absolutely.
it's
I know,
officially
man.
draft week.
Like
Uh,
exciting for sure.
so that's on Thursday night. So we know a couple prospects that's definitely gonna go high. A couple prospects that's definitely gonna go in the first round for sure. But it should be a pretty interesting draft. But some NFL news. Trey Lance, he has his second pro day, so he's one of the more touted quarterbacks in this draft class. So it could be like 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round.
Yeah, no, we're just pretty crazy at when a lot to say the least, but I mean goes to show how talented this quarterback, draft class is this year, and certainly expect at least 5 guys to be drafted, within the first round. So
Is
I'm
it
definitely looking forward to seeing where they're going. As far as where they're going is, it remains to be seen. At least we know where a couple of them are going, but the
well?
others are still,
I
to
think
be
the question
determined.
is, is it like talent, or is it because there are teams that are quarterback needy? Like, is this class like that good? You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
I know like there's a lot of draft bust, especially at quarterback. So it's like there's 5 guys that could be taken. Like realistically, maybe like 2 of them will be like real good, and then like 3 of them, might be getting traded or off the roster in like the 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Because the NFL's not for long, especially if
That's true.
you're not in a position to prove yourself, or you're not in the best position to actually succeed. So things could change pretty quick. But 5 quarterbacks is crazy. So Trey Lance had his second pro day. A lot of teams in attendance. The coach, Bill Belichick, didn't go to it. McDaniels didn't go to it, but they had scouts over there. They've been doing a lot of homework on the quarterbacks. So we'll see what happens with that. The Ravens traded offensive tackle Orlando Brown in exchange for draft picks, which I don't know. How you feel about that move, trading Orlando Brown?
I mean, it's certainly good for the Chiefs. They definitely needed some help on the offensive line. So, and certainly, Patrick Mahomes is happy about that, as he should be. I mean, he's certainly been a pretty good offensive lineman in his career thus far, and has played, pretty well for the Ravens. So, certainly, missing the tackles, the Chiefs' offensive tackles. This definitely fills a void for them, and also helps them get some more draft capital and picks in this year's and next year's draft. So, definitely for the Chiefs, end of it, of this deal, I like it. And the Ravens, it remains to be seen. I was kind of surprised they just gave them out. Maybe it was, probably salary cap, issues, or and that's probably what I'm thinking. Most likely, it was the reason for them to trade him. So we'll see what they do with those draft picks that they got. But I think certainly the Chiefs got the better end of this deal.
I think so too, because he's a really good, offensive line player. And,
yeah, he made the Pro Bowl too.
For real.
Before,
especially with Lamar Jackson and everything that he needs to do behind the line, with that ball. So we'll see how that goes, but I definitely agree. But they did get, a good amount for him. So the Chiefs were in need of a left tackle, so they gave up some stuff for him. So Baltimore will get the Chiefs' first, third, and fourth rounds this year, and a 5th round in 2022. And they're sending a 2021 second round pick and a 2022 6th rounder to Kansas City. And they now have the 27th and the 31st pick of the draft, and the Chiefs will pick 58 and 63rd. So,
wow.
I don't know. They got
that's
2
a
picks.
Lot. Right. They
in
got
the first
quite
round.
A few picks, man. I didn't realize it was that much. Wow, that's quite a bit.
It's a lot. So, the Ravens have to do some stuff to, shore up that line for sure. But that was a good haul for an offensive tackle.
An lineman, exactly. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
As good as Orlando Brown is, it's still a lot, just for, right, for a left tackle. So, and we sure know that, one of the most important positions on the field is the left tackle position, since, that's the quarterback's blind side, and also where teams usually have their best pass rusher on that side. So, definitely, a key position without question, and the Chiefs could certainly filled it with someone who's gonna make the offense
a capable guy for sure.
Right, no question.
So there's some rule changes in the NFL. The jersey number rules changed. It got approved in the NFL, when they did their vote. So players can now change their number to desired numbers. They're not really restricted to like a group of numbers. We know Tom Brady doesn't like it very much, but other players.
Right. Of course he doesn't. Right. He's been playing in this league 21 years. And Right.
He don't want to see the change.
Changing up the numbers on him. Right. Exactly. an older, player and stuff. It's like, yeah, he doesn't want things to change and things to be any different than how they've been the last 21 years since he's been in the league.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of players are going to be changing their numbers because as a player, you actually have to buy the inventory, the rest of the inventory that was printed for your number. You know what I'm saying? So like
right. Well, it makes sense that those companies don't lose money. Exactly.
Right. So somebody like Dalvin Cook would have to pay like upwards of, $1 million to actually change his number to whatever number he wanted because companies have already printed the numbers. So I don't know if players are going to be lining up other than like, let's say a second year player who hasn't hit the market like that. You know what I mean? Like a Chase Winovich or something like that. You know what I mean? There's no way you got that many jerseys that you're going to pay so much for it. But I don't see, the veterans players doing it at all.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean? If you've been in the league for a few years, imagine J.J. Watt wanted to change his number. Like,
I would be crazy. What? Wow.
You know what I mean? Like that would be
right.
crazy.
That'd be shocking. Right.
But
I'd definitely be stunned by that changing.
Or Brady changing his number to number 1 now because
God, really?
he's the GOAT.
Same numbers.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That'd be hilarious if like him wearing a number 1 jersey. That'd look like kind of weird, especially for him since his brand is TB12. So like I'd be shocked for him to, change
that wouldn't make
the
sense.
number to anything else. Like TB1, is that what it's gonna be that instead of TB12? That'd be pretty funny if he changed it to a different number.
Right? How can it be TB12 when there's only one? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Stupid shit. Players can now hug Roger Goodell because he's fully vaccinated. So at the draft, that they have.
We really had to mention that. They really had to make that.
I don't know why that's news.
Right, and relevant enough for that to even be, headlines. Right, exactly. Like, who really cares about that? Seriously.
Yeah, but the player. I don't know why you would hug the commissioner as a player either, because you're probably gonna get fined if you know what I mean. Like,
no, but I feel those guys that.
No, I'm talking about like later on in their careers. Like, you know what I mean? Can you imagine?
Yeah, after draft night, there's no other reason to do that besides the time that the night you get drafted.
It's exciting.
There ain't no point for hugging him. Yeah, that's not a guy you're gonna be hugging after draft night. Or even think of doing something like that for real.
Right, for real, man. Because your ass will get fined.
Right. But what's funny is that how like those guys, like every guy like has like a different dap with like Roger Goodell. So like that's pretty funny how like everyone tries to
you think they
do their own
spend time. You think they spend time like teaching them the handshake, like?
Some of them do, I'm sure, but some of them maybe it's like spontaneous and on the spot. I'm sure some of them, could possibly, be going over that like with him before they get drafted.
Right, but I think Roger, you got better things to be, you got shit to do.
Bigger and more important things to worry about.
Learning daps and shit.
Draft picks, right. Seriously, right? You got a whole freaking league and a whole lot of other things that are on your plate that you should be that should be on your mind. Then
go monitor
guys when they get drafted.
Go monitor the Deshaun Watson situation. Tell us what's really happening. Deshaun Watson. I mean, I said Jackson
you said
again.
Deshaun Watson.
I said Watson. See, I be doubting myself now every time I say it.
For a second, I thought you said Jackson, but no, you said Watson because, Vlad, and sometimes you tend to make that mistake. So you got it right this time around, of course.
Appreciate you. Yes, man.
Yep.
Mike Tomlin, the Steelers head coach, will be extended by 3 years from the Steelers, which is, I think it's the right move. It's a good move. Mike Tomlin's a great coach. He's, he might not have won the Super Bowl a lot of times, but he's been one of the most successful coaches in the league. So I'm glad to see him get extended because, every now and then they bring his name up as far as like coaches being on the hot seat. I'm like, the guy's had one losing season, man, and all his players were pretty much damn near injured. You know what I'm saying? So, and he went like 8-8. So
Right, the year before, right,
mhm.
when pretty much the roster was depleted. So,
Yeah,
no, he certainly deserves it. And, and is certainly going to be the coach of the Steelers for a while, for the foreseeable future. And he's one of the better coaches in the league, for sure. So, definitely congrats and shout out to Mike Tomlin on his new 3-year extension.
more people getting extended. Baker Mayfield, the Cleveland Browns have picked up a 5th-year option on him, so they're going to be keeping him for that 5th year for sure. Because he was a number 1 pick there with them. So good move on the Browns or not?
No, certainly a good move for them. Definitely Baker's showed, last year, had a pretty good year last year. So he definitely, proved that he's, he can be a good starting quarterback in this league if he can stay healthy and, and keep his mind focused on football, and not worry about, the other stuff, outside of, football. So he certainly has been, good for the Browns, within the last year. And I thought, this was really a no-brainer for the Browns to, you take advantage of that 5th-year option, that extra year that they don't have to pay him until it's time for him to get his second, deal. So he'll be, signed through 2022 season, with that 5th-year option. So then after that, they're gonna have to, show him the money and give him the bag. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
This dude brought Cleveland to the playoffs, man. Like without Odell Beckham in the lineup, which I think is definitely something. It's definitely something in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Brought them to beat the Steelers, to get there and everything.
In Pittsburgh, right.
In Pittsburgh. So
And
like you
they
said,
only
it's a
beat the
no-brainer.
Chiefs too.
Yep.
They came close to beating the Chiefs in the playoffs. I was,
I was rooting for
pretty
them,
much
man,
the
to do that.
closest team in the AFC that to actually knock them off in this postseason. So no, definitely, he's deserved that, extra year, from the Browns, and looking forward to seeing what he does. But definitely, let's also give some credit to the coach as well.
Yeah.
Kevin
Kevin
Travinsky, he's did
Stefanski.
a great job. Stefanski, yep, he did a
Yeah,
great
he
and
did. He did.
an amazing job with that team last year. And I think he, changed that culture of the Browns, and certainly a reason why they're a winning franchise and really a contender in the AFC
Did he
next year.
win like Coach of the Year this year?
He did,
Yeah,
yes,
he
that's
did.
correct.
He did. Good for
Yep,
him.
well deserved too. So
Good for
shout
him,
out to
man.
him.
The 49ers, in the draft that's coming up, they're going to be picking between Mac Jones and Justin Fields. Have you had a chance to look at those guys? And if you were them, which quarterback would you take?
Yeah, so I've been hearing that they've actually decided and made their decision
Mm-hmm.
already as far as who they're going to take between those guys. Uh, for me personally, if I, were them and had to, pick who am I gonna draft, I would honestly pick Justin Fields. I would draft Justin Fields over Mac Jones and Trey Lance. I think Devin Fields would be a good fit for that offense, for the run heavy offense that they have, since he can run himself and he can do some things outside the pocket. So I certainly think he fits their style of play, better, and would my eyes be, should be that guy that they draft. But I've been hearing that, Mac Jones is more likely to, be, their guy to, to get drafted by the 49ers. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes this Thursday. But definitely I would take Justin Fields if, I was the one making that pick.
Yeah, man. Shoot. I like both guys. I think both guys are prime time for sure. I think
Right.
Justin Fields just like gives you, a different dimension, with his size, his speed. Kid ran like a 4.4, right? Four
Yeah,
four
in
four
his
three or
40s.
something like that.
Yep,
And
yep.
but I mean, we actually don't know what the legit number is because there was no combine this year. You know what I mean? So a lot of a lot of fast numbers showed up this year. In the pro days and stuff. So there's a lot of like
Right.
4.3s, like sub. You know what I mean? 4.2, whatever. Um, you know, and I think that's
Yep.
because guys are doing workout pro days and stuff like that, so it's different. But we'll see what happens, man. I think the draft definitely starts after the number 3 pick, where Mac Jones has been projected to go number 3 this whole time, which I think has a lot of people confused because Justin Fields was like the number 2 prospect like the whole year, and then boom, he's like 4th or 5th. I don't know what happened, but I saw him play in prime time and he looked pretty good to me. So that's who I would have went with, you know.
Yeah, no question. And another thing is that I think if Fields isn't taken in the on that 3rd pick by like the first 3 picks, I think there will be a team that trades up in the draft to pick him up if the Niners don't get him. That is a B money prediction right there.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking is gonna happen if they don't the Niners don't pick him up.
Some team, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of quarterback needy teams out there, so somebody's got to move. And some of the guys at the top of the draft don't need to be there because they don't need to pick quarterback. So they know teams are going to
Right.
be hungry to come in and trade X amount of draft capital to get in earlier on in the first round. We'll see what happens with
Yep.
that. The NFL approved expanded authority for replay officials ahead of the season this year. So that means the guys that are in the box, right? In the skybox that's like looking at the plays, the replays and stuff, they get more authority in what happens on the field now. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say, there's a call on the field that's made, but the replay official sees clearly that, that's not what happened. He now can actually say, you know what I mean? Like, no, you need to be making this call, you know what I mean? Because it's clear in the video and whatever. They can't make the calls for the officials, but they can make very strong suggestions. What do you think about that? Do you think that's needed?
Yeah, no, for sure. I like the rule and certainly think that is beneficial and helps the game, but sure in the NFL, and I think it's certainly makes the game go by faster, and particularly when those times where the refs are looking over the replay like 10 million times, and it's like so like obvious like after the first few times that that is like, yeah, why do you guys need to look at it so much when we clearly can see what the play was and what is what the correct call is. So I think certainly having another set of eyes that's particularly strictly looking at replays, it can definitely is is a plus for the league and is going to help those officials on the field, a lot, so they don't have to worry as much about looking over replays and and having more assistants will certainly make sure that they're, making the right calls and not getting anything wrong on the field. So I
I don't
actually
know.
like that rule.
I don't know why there was rules restricting, their I guess suggestions. Like clearly, like sometimes, there needs to be somebody that steps in, like, look, the video clearly says, you know, this, that, and the third, and you're fucking blind. You know what I'm saying? Like, because some of these officials, I'm like, what were you looking at when you went in there? You know what I mean?
Exactly,
It's
right,
like,
for real. Like, what were you
were you,
seeing?
were
Like,
you, were you looking
right,
at the right
right.
play? Like, did
Exactly.
you get the right replay? Because, like, I don't. I'm like, we all seen this. You know what I'm saying? For instance, I'm
Right.
talking about, like the Super Bowl, with the Patriots, with the Eagles, right at the end there, where dude caught the ball and his foot is out of bounds, but they still let the play go. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then
And
they
then the
still
week
give him a
before,
touchdown. I think that
yes,
play was a touchdown
right.
too.
But the week before, one of our players did that, and they like, went hard and was like, no, 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 no. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I
It's
remember
stuff like
that
that,
too. That
man.
that was ridiculous. Right,
Yes, 'cause
right.
I'm like, there's a few plays in there that you refs screwed up really badly, and there needs to be another eye. Like, listen, there
Right,
needs to be
exactly.
there needs to be somebody at home watching the TV, looking out all the replays. There needs to be somebody in the freaking skybox. Y'all all need to be talking together. No, this is what we see right here. Clearly, this is not right. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So,
right, absolutely. No, that's definitely much needed, and I'm glad they're finally doing that. It's way overdue, but yeah, definitely better late than never. It was about time that the NFL had, this rule and had another official, in the sky or wherever to be able to look at these plays, because we've seen too many plays that, have not been the correct calls that have
oh
affected the
my God,
outcome of the game.
the Saints play against the Rams.
Oh yeah,
Like
exactly.
what?
Perfect example. Exhibit
Like
A.
that's crazy right there. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
right. That shouldn't happen. That's unacceptable for sure.
I mean, everybody at home is like, "What are you guys watching?" Like
Exactly. Like, what the hell is that? Like, what are y'all seeing that? Like,
my man's was
right,
in
right.
that booth, FaceTiming with somebody. He wasn't watching the play. Like I don't know what was happening in there.
Oh man, yeah, he must have not been doing his job. That's for sure.
For sure. Another rule I think you'd agree with that's about to change is no more overtime in the preseason.
Great. That's awesome.
Let's get the fuck up
Agreed.
out of here. If we're
Right,
tied, we're
right.
tied. It don't matter.
Exactly. It's preseason. It's not a real game. It doesn't count. So right after 4 quarters, whatever the score is,
Listen,
boom,
can
keep
you
it moving and head
imagine
to the locker room.
watching these bums in the overtime in the preseason? Like,
Oh God,
come on,
like the
bro.
fourth and fifth string guys. Oh
Yes, dude. I'm
Lord,
like,
like
have you
that's
ever played football in your
whew,
life? You
exactly
know what
for
I
real, for real. Like those dudes probably haven't played since high school, if that.
mean? That's what they look like anyway. You
Right,
know?
exactly right. They look like high school players for real, for real.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, that'd
I'm
be some ugly and and unwatchable football to say
Oh, I
the
always
least.
turn it off anyway after the third quarter. I mean, even in the third quarter, halfway through, I'm like, all right, this game's over. I mean, the starters are out. There's nothing to see here. You know,
Right, right. Most
um,
of these guys aren't gonna make the team anyways. Exactly. So what's the
they're
point
camp
of
bodies.
watching?
They are camp bodies.
Exactly. Right.
Hmm.
That's pretty much who they are. Right. And why they're there. So no, for sure.
Right. We'll see if those rules stick. Because the NFL has a
Hopefully they stay with
tendency.
those rules.
The NFL has a tendency to just like change rules. Remember, like the one about offensive pass interference had to be replayed or whatever. They took that rule back like
Right. And that
the
was only
very
a
next
1
year.
year
I was
thing.
like,
Right,
what?
right.
Like,
Exactly. It's like y'all just made this rule, and only after one season, it's already gone. Like,
yep.
yeah, for real. So
Yep.
we'll see what the NFL does. Hopefully, they keep that around for the foreseeable future.
Facts, man. We were talking about how the rookies hugging Roger Goodell and that they're going to get their ass fined. And there's a new, the NFL is going to be putting an emphasis on taunting penalties. So you can see a couple guys will probably get fined this year for taunting. So that's another way to take money out of these guys' pockets, which I really don't understand, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah, like me either. I mean, as they say, the NFL's the no fun league. So
yeah,
I certainly think that, that, they're trying to be strict and more disciplined and, and come down hard on these
no
guys
fun
and
league.
trying to make sure they make, there's good sportsmanship. But I mean, come on, that's part of playing sports. Like, guys are gonna talk trash and go at each other and be intense and, in each other's spaces. Like, that's part of playing football.
Yeah, remember Antoine Winfield Jr. got fined for I think waving the peace sign to Tyreek Hill in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, that's
remember
right.
That?
Yeah,
then,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
right.
They did fine him for that,
which I think is like ridiculous. I'm like, these guys are grown men. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's a men's sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really not that serious unless somebody's getting hurt out there. But that's it for the NFL news. Let's get into some Patriots stuff, man. The 29th is approaching, and it's going to be a big draft for us, right? Currently, we have 10 draft picks in this year's draft. And we have the first round, we have number 15 pick. The second round, we have the number 46 pick. In the third round, we have the 96. We have 2 fourth rounders, which is the 120th and the 122nd. A fourth round, number 139. A fifth round, 177. 2 sixth round. The first one is 188, and the second one was 197, and then a seventh round at 242. So we got a lot of capital in this year's draft. I mean, I feel like we always do anyway, just because Bill Belichick's been racking up picks for years, man. Like trading out of the first round, just to get an extra pick in the next year's draft. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
We're one of those teams that actually do pretty well with maintaining and managing the draft picks that we got. But this year is a little different, right? Because what's the main story around here, Barry?
Well, the main story is pretty much that the Patriots had the 15th pick in the draft, and they a lot of people are saying that they need to look to draft a quarterback in this year's draft. And it's interesting because Belichick usually does what we don't expect him to do, or what is clear and glaring need, on the team. Like, he does
Metcalf,
the opposite,
man,
of what everybody says that he should
right.
do.
Like picking up DK Metcalf. Like you should have picked up DK or Debo Samuels or somebody.
Right, which his scouts, I don't know if you told him, remember this, but his scouts were actually telling him that they like, not only Debo Samuels and DK Metcalf, but even AJ Brown was saying that he should take any of those 3 guys, and then he ends up taking N'Keal Harry, and we've seen how that has turned out, and it hasn't been very good, to say the least.
Let's not bash him today. We're on the draft now.
But we gotta keep it real here. Even
we
though we
got a whole season.
right ahead of us to bash him. But I mean, his drafting hasn't been the best, though. We at least have to say that.
But listen, that's if he makes the team this year. Because look what we did in the offseason, bringing in guys, and now he's looking at he's in the bubble right now, to be honest with you. Based on his resume, you know what I mean? Like, even a guy like Jacoby Myers has, more of a spot on the team than he does now.
No question. Absolutely. I definitely agree that Jacoby Myers' roster spot and job is much safer, and certainly has more leverage than the kill Harry right now. Because I mean, he would at best be a fourth receiver, and since we already picked up a couple and have Jacoby, so he's really an afterthought at this point. Which is crazy saying that a first round pick is an afterthought only a couple of years, removed from being
from the
drafted in the
draft,
league.
man. Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
So we'll see what how that goes. Hopefully he can wake up and finally
Some
be a productive
competitiveness,
player. Exactly. Actually be something worth it. Right. And
like wake
actually,
up.
exactly, wake up and smell the coffee for real.
No, wake up and catch these damn balls. That's what you need to do. Wake up and
Right,
run this
for
damn
real.
route right, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, right, for real.
That's the only thing.
Seriously.
So we have 10 picks in the drafts. Obviously, the major speculation, is that we need a draft. We need to draft a quarterback. Even Robert Kraft came out and pretty much said the same thing. Like, listen, we need to figure this thing out. You know what I'm saying? Cam Newton had the COVID situation, with the time he was signed as well, so that's the major excuse for the year and his performance. Jared Stidham, second year, no training camp, injury, mistakes and stuff like that. So he says that he hasn't gotten a fair chance. So we're going to see these
Oh,
guys.
really? He said that?
Yeah,
Stidham
Robert
said
Kraft.
that? Oh, wow. He said that about Stidham. Wow.
He said that. He said, listen, I think we need to figure things out. Things have not gone our way recently in the draft. So basically he's admitting that they haven't done well in the draft, and that signing all these guys is not an ideal situation, but it's what you need to do sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the most interesting comments were about like the quarterback position and how we definitely need to figure it out. It definitely sounds like they understand what Cam had to do last year. They factor in all the circumstances that happened with Cam, being signed in July, before the season started, and then catching COVID, with the lack of weapons we have, you know what I'm saying? So,
right.
He's also coming off the foot injury, the surgery, right? And then the shoulder stuff too, which now would be like the second year, that he's gotten it. So it should be a lot better now, right? Since you've had a good amount of time to acclimate and stuff like that. So, Robert Kraft definitely says this is a year, these things are important for us to be figuring out, our signal caller. So, with this year's draft is very important. And the speculation is that, most people are saying and suggesting that the Patriots move up to, the top end of the draft, which is like a number, 7, 8, possibly 6, as early as 6 to pick one of the quarterbacks that's in this year's draft. And, we've heard Justin Fields is part of that right there. Trey Lance is part of that. We've heard that they love Mac Jones as well. So if you were the Patriots, and you had the chance, would you move up? And who do you think the Patriots should be looking at? Or who do you like for the Patriots?
That's certainly a good question. I think that's, like any one of those guys, I think they certainly bring some different to the table. Since their games are, are different, in terms of their style of play. I certainly think if they do have a chance and opportunity to, move up in the draft to, get one of these guys, if they end up slipping, further than what we expect and anticipate, then they should certainly, take advantage and capitalize on an opportunity to get one of these guys. that and bring them onto their roster and try to develop them and see if they can be the next guy, the next franchise quarterback that we need, since we don't
Mm-hmm.
really have that guy yet. We know Cam Newton's not a long-term solution at quarterback, and there's just those short-term guys and bridge guys, to say the least. So I think definitely in this draft they need to be able to find a guy that they can bring in, and you know and see if he can be the answer for them at that position, and be more of a long term, and guy that's going to be here for a while.
Who do you
So
like, though, is the
um
question.
whew, then I'll just gonna say I certainly like Fields. I like Jones and stuff. So I mean it's tough, but I know I definitely like Fields a little bit better than Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones too. I wouldn't mind seeing none of those guys. I think Trey Lance I like, but not really as much. He hasn't really played. Doesn't have as much experience as those guys. Hasn't played, good, high level competition like those guys have played, and doesn't have the body of work that those two guys have in Justin Fields and Mac Jones. So I think either one of those two, depending on who the 49ers draft. I think if one of those two is available past, like you said, that 6, 7, or 8 pick, they should definitely be making a call to either the Bengals or the Panthers, or whoever has those picks.
Bengals, Atlanta, Panthers, I think even Detroit. Yep.
Yeah,
Those are the 4 teams that don't need quarterbacks and could be willing to deal.
could trade up, so they should definitely get try to make a deal with one of those two guys. I think certainly Justin Fields would fit well in this offense. And even Mac Jones in some aspects. So it could go either way. I think it's a toss up, between those two guys. I think Trey Lance is an afterthought, and a guy that they should get if those other two guys are already taken, and there's not and there's not much left. So we'll
Right.
see who they decide to take, but definitely those top two guys should be their priority without question.
Right. I think I'm most intrigued with like Trey Lance. Not that, I know his body of work and stuff like that, but I just think it's interesting to me that the Patriots have been, doing a lot of homework on all these quarterbacks, right? So Bill Belichick went to Trevor Lawrence's pro day. You know what I'm saying? He went
No,
to
Mac Jones. He was just at Mac Jones's pro day.
No, he also went to Trevor Lawrence's.
He did, for what?
Yes, exactly. So he went to Trevor
Why? Like
Lawrence's.
we know he's gonna be the first round pick,
Right.
and he's been the
Well,
first
other
round pick
coaches,
since last year. Like, why is he wasting his time doing that? I don't get it.
other
Understand.
coaches went too. He's been rumored. He went to Mac Jones. He's been talking to Kellen Mond. You know what I mean? Which is another quarterback that's highly graded. That people are not really talking about. That could be a surprise in the draft. He's been making appearances, and so has Josh McDaniels too. But Lance, it's only been like scouts, which teams do, that's normal. But I just feel like, he could be like a sneaky person that they're like trying to stay away from to not make noise and then come out of nowhere and take them. And he's been projected, as a person that would do well in our offense as well. From what I know, he's a great passer of the ball, very competitive. and wouldn't need to sit for a year. So under Cam Newton, he could learn the offense with Josh McDaniel, and then possibly next year, start off as the starter. So we'll see what happens
He
with
seems
that.
like more of a project than those two guys like Fields and Jones are, who are ready to play right now from
Right.
from day one. So no,
Listen,
I'm not surprised.
Patrick Mahomes sat down for a year, so it's not abnormal, and I feel like sometimes it's the best route to go because just sending them out there under the fire is pretty wild. But I've been looking at some of the mock drafts, and a lot of the mock drafts, they come up with different scenarios, right? And that's really up to the person that's doing the mock draft, right? Like you can think of and imagine whatever bullshit you want, like because you're not in those offices, so you're not really knowing what the coaches and what they're looking for and what they want. But a lot of the ones that have the Patriots staying with the numbers that they have, I'm seeing some interesting names. This mock draft is from sportsnews.com, right? And if the Patriots stay at the number 15th overall pick, they go with the linebacker Micah Parsons, which is a guy I've been hearing a lot about, this whole offseason, which, I don't know if you heard about him.
Yeah, no, me too, definitely. He's one of the more talented defensive players in this draft.
Right, and the reasoning for their idea for that is Donta Hightower is 32 and has 1 year left on his deal. Juwan Bentley also becomes a free agent in 2022, and Parsons would be able to plug in as near future and long-term starter. So they're saying he's a guy that can come in and be a starter, right? So that obviously, with those guys that are approaching the end of their deals, we don't know if Hightower is going to take another deal. There was rumors that he was going to be retiring.
Right.
And then he decided to come back. So we don't know what's going to happen with that. And I don't know. I've been looking at him. That looks like a solid pick, at the 15th spot, if they choose to stay there.
No, I certainly wouldn't mind seeing that if they do. I think that's, the most likely case scenario if they do end up staying at 15 and not move up to draft a quarterback. I think if they do decide to keep that 15 pick, they will most likely draft, a defensive stud, a defensive, playmaker, and a guy that's going to be, in the core of their defense, for the many years to come. Like Micah Parsons, or I could even see them, drafting like a corner or a safety or someone in the secondary, because guys in that secondary are getting, older,
right?
Towards the
Gilmore,
end of their contracts,
right?
As well. So they need a long-term secondary guy, to build around along, with Kyle Duggar, because besides him, all those guys are getting pretty older and towards the end of their careers.
Yeah, I agree, man. I don't think you can. I mean, he's projected to be like the top linebacker in the draft this year. So I wouldn't be mad at that if that was the case.
No, me either.
If we can't move up anyway, you know what I'm saying. But I hope we do whatever we can to make that happen. Another need the Patriots are going to need now is a wide receiver, because Julian Edelman retired, and we know we can't rely on N'Keal Harry. So a guy that's projected to come to us 46 overall is Elijah Moore. He's a wide receiver out of Ole Smith. He's 5'9" and 184 pounds.
Oh, I see. So that's a smaller receiver. It seems like another slot receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, we would need an outside guy, because I feel like we have a lot of slot guys already.
A lot of small guys.
Small and slot guys, because, pretty much our top receivers are all guys that, play, best in the slot. I know, Nelson Aguilar can play a little bit of both, but I feel like he's more best suited and plays his best, football when he's in the slot, as well as Kendrick Bourne. Same thing for him and Jacoby Myers. So I think they certainly need a bigger outside receiver if they do look to draft a receiver, which, they should, just not in the first round. So that definitely, needs someone that has more size as well as, speed, and that can, make plays on outside the numbers, since there's too many, they have enough guys that can do it in the slot in the middle of the field. So
yeah, I definitely don't agree with that right there. Man, the small guys, man, we've been doing that for years in the organization. I'm like, we need I like, for once, I'm like, can we get like a big bodied guy, you know what I mean, that's gonna go up and fight for the rock. So we'll see what happens. That's what they projected at number 46 overall. And you were just talking about it, that, the cornerbacks, and a guy that's projected at number 96 overall, which is a compensatory pick because Tom Brady left. This person would be Aaron Robinson, cornerback. He's 6 foot, 186 pounds, out of UCF. Robinson has a frame and a coverage skill to do multiple things well in Bill Belichick's defense. The Patriots are on the verge of doing an age-based secondary build. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm not so sure either. I'm not too certain what they're trying to say. I think they should probably go a different route with that pick and then try to get someone else, because I don't really see them drafting that guy, or if working out with that particular player. So yeah, that wouldn't be a good pick to.
Why do you say that?
The least. That's just how I feel. That's just gut feeling of mine, and
Okay.
what what I feel as far as what is best for this team, and and a guy that can be able to fit well on this roster. So yeah, I wouldn't like to see that, to say the least.
Well, I don't know if you're gonna like this one. So that was the number 96 overall. We got 120th overall in the 4th round, and they're projecting Ambry Thomas, the cornerback from Michigan. He's 6 foot, 191 pounds, and the blurbs: the Patriots can go back to cornerback with good success in this class. Thomas can do that job to help depth outside coverage at first, and also can also be a big contributor on special teams. So that doesn't sound like a guy that's going to come in and start, or like fight for a starting position, right?
Seems like more of a backup, in secondary role, to say the least. But certainly I wouldn't mind seeing that, because I was just saying they need certainly more depth in the secondary, need to get younger at that position. So yeah, I mean, if they do draft him, they could kind of bring him along. There's not too much pressure for him to start and play too many snaps right away. So that actually wouldn't be a bad draft pick, if they do end up going that route.
And number 122 in the 4th round, they're projecting Kylan Hill. He's a running back from Mississippi State, 5'10", 214 pounds. So do you think we actually need to bring in a new running back? Because I know this year we brought in, James White back on a 1-year deal. I know that, Sony Michel is going to be back there. Harris is going to be back there as well. They lost Burkhead, from the injury last year. So we are gonna. Well, they have Taylor too, which I thought he did some stuff last year.
Yeah, no, but sure. They do have decent depth at the running back position. I feel as though they could, use like a bigger, like more like physical kind of, back, um, that can certainly be used in, the short yardage situations and goal line, situations when they're close to the end zone. I think certainly that would, be a good fit, for them and something that they need to add to, their running back room. So I wouldn't mind seeing another running back, but he seems kind of small though, and we already have like running backs that are similar, to his size. So I think if they're gonna draft a guy like that, then
Right.
I don't really see him playing much. And you got to also remember, running backs don't play that much in their first year with the Patriots. They don't see much,
Right.
snaps
They ride in the
or
bench.
reps. Right, exactly. So I don't, if I see them actually adding a running back, I'd like for it to be a bigger and more size. But
Who who was the last rookie running back that started for the Patriots? Well, Sony Michel recently, but before that, I think it was Lawrence Maroney. Remember Lawrence Maroney?
God, yes, unfortunately. Oh Lord, you really had to remind me of him.
Yo,
That bum. Oh Lord.
I think I think he got
Oh
arrested
man.
for like selling
Unfortunately,
drugs
right. Seriously, yeah.
in St. Louis because that's where
He
he was
did.
from. Yeah, he got caught up in the
Oh
game.
shoot, dang!
Yeah,
I didn't even know that. I didn't even hear that. Wow, that's crazy.
yeah. He was out there doing some things. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and do not doing the right things clearly, and he
yeah.
got
They had to
caught
bring
and
him inside. They had to bring him
yeah. Oh yeah,
inside.
they definitely had to bring him inside for sure. Yep, that's
But
right. Yeah, and talk about a bust. That's one of the biggest busts that we've drafted. With him, I think he was a first round pick
he
too.
was
And
a first round pick. I think it
oh
was, one
Lord,
of those Bill Belichick picks. So
oh God,
he came out of
no wonder
Minnesota.
why it turned out so bad.
He
Oh
came out of
boy,
Minnesota, I believe. When he came out, I was watching all his highlights. I'm like, this dude looked like he could do some things. And then he came on. I'm like, this dude is fumbling it every other time he gets the ball. Get him off the
that and
field.
he looked slow. He wasn't
Yeah.
even like
Well,
fast.
he would like skip around, the backfield and not just hit the freaking hole. We're like, take the fucking like,
Right, like hit the hole, like go downhill, like make one cut and shoot, make your move
yo,
towards the hole.
get
Exactly.
out of here, buddy.
Right,
But the
right. Like
dude,
don't try to freaking dance and do all this east and west. Go north and south. Exactly. Right.
that
Like
was the major issue with him.
oh yeah, among those fumbles, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
King
yeah.
used to like fumble a lot too,
hmm We
and that's why he
remember.
got in the doghouse real quick
We
because
remember.
Belichick don't like running backs that fumble. Oh yeah,
Right.
and so yeah, no, I definitely remember him. Unfortunately, that's wish I didn't, but I
Right.
do nonetheless.
But Kylan Hill, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Kylan or Killen Hill. His first name is spelled Kylin. Is that Kylan? Kalen?
Kylan, yeah, I think it's
You know
Kylan.
what? I'm not his mother, man.
Right. I think Kylan
He
sounds
ain't my
about right.
son, man. Um,
Right, exactly.
so the little write up on him is Hill is a grinding, no nonsense back who can boost the Patriots' power running game as a swing replacement for Rex Burkhead with his ability to also play on third down. I like the sound of that. I don't know too much about the player, but I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it sounds
But
good
again,
to me.
the size, the size, like these guys are really small.
What's his size now?
He's 5'10". He's my size. You know what I mean? It's like,
Oh,
come on,
dang.
man.
I mean,
We
running backs aren't usually that big or that they're not usually that tall, so I'm not
right. They're not. They're not.
surprised.
You're right. He's an average size running back for sure. Number 139, still in the fourth round. That's that's 139 overall, which is a compensatory pick. His name is Jalen Darden. He's a wide receiver from North Texas. And get this, he's 5'8", 174 pounds.
No, just not. Not even gonna explain that or break that down. And yeah, I'm gonna just keep it simple and short and sweet. Just no.
Yeah.
Hell no. Absolutely not. That's a no.
No.
Like,
we're not even gonna talk
they
about
better
that.
not pick him up. Yeah, exactly. It's not even
So,
worth talking about that and wasting our time. That's just a no.
I'll read the blurb at least. The Patriots can finish an overall of their receiving corps after drafting Moore here and signing Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. After getting limited returns from N'Keal Harry, Demir Bird, and Jacoby Myers, while Moore can start in the slot with his size, Darden has intrigue as diminutive. He's definitely diminutive. Dasher who can raise
that he is.
Who can raise their big play potential whenever he gets the ball in his hands. I don't know who that is, but man, 5'8", 174 pounds. You know, small guys, man, really small guys.
Real small, like tiny, miniature.
Another pick, round 5, number 177. Sportsnews.com is projecting at 177. We pick 6'3", 211 pounds quarterback from Texas A&M, Kellen Mond, which I agree with as far as like the pick. But I think Kellen Mond is gone by like round 3, man.
Like, why take him so late? If you like him and think, and are interested in picking him up, you should pick him much sooner than that. Like, why? He's definitely not gonna last.
He's definitely not gonna last until the 5th round.
Right. Like, I
no
don't
way.
And understand why they have him that late in their mock draft. Why they think he's gonna be available? There's no way. Hell, he's going to be available by that point.
I love the pick. But I think
we would have to seeing that.
Right, we would have to pick that guy in like late 2nd round somehow. Because
that's a day 2 pick in like either probably like a 2nd round with that 2nd round pick or even 3rd round.
The Steelers are going to be waiting. The Saints are going to be looking. You know what I'm saying? There's teams that are looking for quarterbacks, and Kellen Mond is a high-graded quarterback. He's not going to be in the 5th round.
Yeah, no way. That's 2nd round, I'd say 3rd round latest, but no later than 3rd round. So they got to use either one of those 2 picks to get him because he's not a 5th round pick for sure. He's not going to slip that much far down the draft. Like that's not gonna happen, and and I don't see that. So that definitely drafted player. I wouldn't mind seeing that draft multiple
I would love it.
Quarterbacks.
I would love it.
The quarterbacks that you can get if you're the Patriots.
Listen, pick a quarterback every single pick you get. Like
I don't know about all that. I don't know that much. They have other needs, but I know quarterback is their biggest, to say the least. So I think definitely draft him, but much sooner than the 5th round.
Right, and I think those are the most interesting picks that this mock draft gave out. And I'm just gonna read the other names that are in the 6th round, which most likely 16% chance they make this roster. So most likely they get
16. Wow, there you 16. Go with that number, right? I wouldn't even thought of that exact percentage of them.
No, that's like the percentage of guys that are picked in like the 5th and 6th round and on that actually make rosters.
Wow, that's crazy. So I just thought of it that Tom Brady really had a 16% chance of making the roster since he was drafted in the 6th round, 199 overall.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that is
Julian Edelman.
That's insane. That's wild.
They had very little chances to make it, but they went through and made it. Like Jacoby Myers should not be on this team, but he made it. You know what I'm saying? So there's not many
Right,
guys
right.
that happens to. So the
No,
guys that are
absolutely.
they're projecting at number 188 overall, which is in the 6th round, which is Malik Herring. He's an edge player out of Georgia, 6'3", 275 pounds. Another 6th round of 197 overall. Kyrus Tonga, he's from BYU, 6'2", 325 pounds. I don't think he's going to make the team. He would not make
No.
the team.
Yeah,
And
I
then
don't think so either. No.
round 7, 242 overall, a wide receiver that probably wouldn't make the teams. Josh Palmer. So one more receiver after 2 small targets early. Right. They know what they were doing, giving us the small people. I'm not even going to read the
Man,
rest of that.
exactly. Right, right. I don't know why they love all the small guys for. Like,
Right.
damn. Oh,
So, I mean, from the mock draft, it looks like we have a few needs, right? We have needs at quarterback. We have needs at wide receiver and cornerback. And if we can address the middle linebacker, we should do that this year. So,
right.
these are the positions you can expect the Patriots to address in the upcoming draft. So we'll see how that goes. And I believe we're going to be on live trying to give you the update on what's going on with the picks on
Oh, we are
ProFans
doing
underscore
that.
sports.
That's great, great, awesome. Are we doing that on Instagram or Facebook, or
IG,
is
baby. We
that
on IG.
IG? All right, word. So catch us on then. We'll be on there on our draft night on Thursday night when the Patriots are about to make their picks. So, tune in and check us out. We'll be on there and keep y'all updated, and give our reactions to that pick when that happens. So I'm definitely excited and looking forward to it. Thursday can't come soon enough.
Facts. And that's going to be it for the NFL segment and the Patriots.
Wait, John, one other thing I wanted to mention, sorry to cut you off on the NFL, is Alex Smith officially renouncing his retirement.
Oh yeah, I mean we've said it on this show. That's what you need to do, man. And farewell to Alex Smith. He had a hell of a comeback. Played a few games. He can leave on his own terms now. You know what I'm saying? But after watching him play and seeing him drag that knee, man, it's just time.
Yeah, no question about it. I agree.
Listen,
Definitely commend him for having a great and unbelievable career. Hell of a career and hell of a comeback. What's up, John?
Like in the beginning of his career, they thought he was going to be a bust because he was with the San Francisco, 49ers, and
Right.
Everybody was writing him out. So I think it's like great that he reversed that narrative and actually became a good quarterback in this league. Unfortunately, the injuries is just it's devastating. 17 surgeries on one leg. That's a lot, man.
I know, man. For real, that's too much. It's crazy how he even survived that. Most people wouldn't even be able to survive that and see another day of life after going through all that. So just surviving that and getting through that is, blessing in its own, to say the least.
For sure, man, for sure.
So, but I'm big sure the fact that he was able to come back and actually play football and, and actually play well for the Washington football team and win games, like, beating the Steelers when they were undefeated, and when they were playing well, and, winning some other games too, is definitely, pretty awesome and definitely remarkable and incredible that he was able to come back and get back on the football field when we all thought that was most, very unlikely for that to happen. And definitely the furthest thing from what he should be doing. So, and winning comeback player of the year and going out on that note is a perfect way for him to go out and end his career.
Yeah, Barry, move your mic a little bit because there's the feedback coming in into the feed. But let's move on to the NBA. We got some NBA news, but first, a tragic news. young man lost his life in a car accident, the past week. And we're talking about Boston native and Kentucky basketball star, University of Kentucky, Terrence Clark. So, rest in peace to him. I know he was a
Absolutely
big figure in the community. And, a lot of guys have definitely spoken up about him and, who he was and everything he's accomplished so far. And, that's just a sad situation overall.
Yeah, without question. I absolutely agree. It's very, tragic and devastating and heartbreaking to hear of tragedy like that and someone losing their, life like that. He certainly had dreams of being in the NBA and was pretty close to
He was
fulfilling
real
that
close, man.
dream. Yeah, absolutely. Was getting ready to be drafted and, had signed with Clutch Sports, the day before he passed and, was working out, getting himself, ready for, for the NBA to be able, to get into the league and, ready for the official draft workout. So, it just really is a very saddening thing. And it really, touched me since, he's, from locally from Boston. I don't know him personally, but, I've, seen highlights of him and was aware of, his talent and, how good of a basketball player he was, playing at Kentucky last year and then playing at Brewster before that, which is a pretty good prep school for, for that a lot of players that, go to the NBA, get drafted into the NBA, go to. So like Nerlens Noel, Wayne Selden, George Niang, all guys that got drafted in the NBA played for Brewster. So he was the next in line, and it's just sad to see someone that young, and with their whole life ahead of them and whole future just, lose their life instantly and all of a sudden. So, life is really too short and tomorrow isn't promised. So definitely just gotta appreciate every day that, you're alive and that you're here. So definitely condolences and, rest in peace to Terrence Clark and, and prayers go out to, his family and, and his loved ones that are suffering through this unfortunate tragedy.
For sure, man. Rest in peace, condolences. And now we'll get into some NBA news. Anthony Davis is back in action now. He was back on the floor the other day.
Yep.
Working his way back. He played 17 minutes. Austin Rivers signed a 10-day contract with the Nuggets, as we reported last week that they were looking at making a deal. But I think he'll probably get like a longer deal after the 10-day contract expired. But you never know. It's like we saw what happened with Isaiah Thomas. LaMelo Ball, his injured wrist, man. This kid, he's like Wolverine. He's already healed, so he'll be back on the floor soon. With the Hornets, and back in that
already that quick.
Yeah,
that was fast. Jeez.
That was Wolverine, man.
Like, what kind of wrist does he have that he can just instantly heal and recover from?
He's still young.
Well, what? That's true, but still, and I'm sure he's in pretty good shape. But dang, a wrist injury, doesn't that take longer to heal and recover from than that? Like, wow, that's incredible and unbelievable that he's already going to be coming back this soon from an injury that should have kept him out for the rest of the season. So, I mean, good for him that he's been working really hard to get back on the court and help his team, win and get into the playoffs. So, yeah, best of luck to LaMelo Ball. He's definitely one of my favorite young players in the league.
Right. They should drug test him. See what happened there.
God, John, what do you think he's on? Like PEDs or something like that? Like, what are you trying to say, man?
He could be on that deer antler. You know
Oh
what
God. Oh Lord.
I'm saying?
Oh man. Oh man.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I
you
hope
know.
he's not on that, but who knows what he's on and what he's been taking, and putting in his body to help him recover from that wrist, injury. So, right, that'd be hilarious if he is
That would
really
be
doing that.
hilarious, dude.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
if you don't know anything about that, Google deer antler.
Yeah, look that up.
Look
Right. Do
that
your
up.
homework on that.
For real, for real. So he'll be back on the court soon, man, and I'm actually happy for him to see him get
Yeah,
back
me
in that
too.
rookie race because he was
You
running
think he
away with it.
can though?
He was running away with it. I mean,
He was running away with it, but I mean, I don't know if he still can because he's missed so many games and so much time.
the NBA is a popularity contest, so we'll see. You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying?
That's true, and I mean, he is the most popular rookie to say the least. Anthony Edwards is another really popular
Listen,
rookie that's been playing well, but
if he
what's
plays
up?
and drops like a triple double, like his first game back, like he's gonna be back in that race, like with the quickness. You know what I'm saying?
Just like that in a heartbeat.
I'm back. Um, Minnesota Timberwolves and Houston Rockets are officially out of the playoff. They're no longer in contention. That's why we were saying,
Wow, they just got eliminated. I thought they'd been eliminated before. Like, wow, I'm surprised that it took them this long to get eliminated as bad as both teams have been this year.
Right.
Like, you
It's a
thought they would
different
be
type of year.
eliminated sooner. Like, it
Right.
took till late April to finally eliminate them when the season's, like 3 weeks away from
3 weeks
ending?
out. Well, get
Right.
this.
That's crazy.
The Houston Rockets, the CEO Tad Brown, he's announcing that he's resigning at the end of the season, which has me like, it's the end of the season. You should pack this shit up.
Exactly. The season's already over. What's he waiting for? Like, what? Like,
Yeah, I guess
what
he
are you
needs
doing? If you want to leave, just leave.
exit interviews. I guess I don't know. Like
Exit interviews when he's not even gonna be there after this year. Like, why is he gonna even be a part of those exit interviews if he's not gonna be with
That's what I'm saying.
franchise, any longer? Right? Doesn't make any sense. Like, you're just wasting your time. Like, what, you stepping down at the end of the season? Like, it is the end of the season.
You're
Like,
out
you
of the
should be
playoffs. Your
stepping down
season's over
right now. Like, you guys are tanking, like, are already for a top draft pick, even though obviously you have to go through the lottery. But
right.
I mean, they clearly in full tank and rebuilding mode. So, like, right, if you're gonna leave, just leave. Just go out the door and keep it pushing. Like,
For real.
What the hell?
So Damian Lillard is now 10th all time on the 3-pointers made officially, and it seems like, a lot of these guys are just breaking 3-point records, man. The game's really changed, man. Steph Curry changed the game, man.
Yeah, he did, absolutely. I mean, they are shooting a lot of them.
They're shooting like they're not driving anymore. They don't even drive no more.
Nobody drives to the basket anymore like that, not consistently. Like, right, like, I feel like driving to the basket is getting,
it's a
like,
lost
outdated
art.
And like, right. It's just not really a part of anyone's game. Well, not too many players' game in the NBA.
It's not their strength
so it's
anymore.
like everyone wants to be a 3-ball sniper and shooter. Everyone wants to, hit that 3-ball and, and make it rain from 3. So, I mean, he's certainly one of the best in the game, at shooting the 3. So I'm not surprised by that. So definitely big shout out and, congrats to Dame Lillard on, achieving that accomplishment. I'm certainly not surprised by that at all.
Yeah, man. Some more NBA news. Trae Young suffered a second-grade ankle sprain. So he's gonna be out for a little bit. Probably a couple weeks, maybe if that. We'll see what happens because it's a second-grade sprain. Rookie from the Wizards, Danny Avdija. He suffered a major leg injury against the Warriors. Like, kind of like
pronunciation, John. That's impressive, man.
Yeah.
I didn't think you'd be able to get that down on the first time, the first shot. So
Yeah, I've been
that
practicing. I've
I
been
wouldn't be able to
practicing.
pronounce his name. So
Right.
wow, that's well done, John.
Thank you, brother.
No
So
problem.
he kind of like the same thing, with Gordon Hayward kind of happened to him. Not the exact same way, but that leg stuff, that leg turning on its side stuff, that happens to these players, kind of like Dak Prescott. The last year, it's kind of crazy. So hopefully he gets better soon. Kevin Durant, he was out with the thigh contusion, right? But now he's going to be coming back, right?
That's
He's
right.
coming back on Sunday against the Suns. James Harden is out indefinitely for them. I don't know what's happening with him, but
Hamstring
hamstring, you can't
with
mess
him.
with
Yeah.
hamstrings, man. Can't
Yeah,
mess with
definitely
hamstrings.
not. That's no injury to play around with at all. And it's one of those injuries that's like lingering. Like if you don't treat it right and make sure that,
Or you're not
it's
playing.
100% right. That's something that can affect you for a while. So they definitely got to make sure they get him right before he gets back on the court.
For real. Steph Curry broke the 30-point record in the NBA. He has the most 30-point games in the NBA this year at the age of 33. So he broke Kobe Bryant's record, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So he's doing things out there. He's on another level, man. For real, for real.
Right. I've been even hearing talk that he's like in the MVP race and an MVP candidate.
Now,
Now, even though I don't think I think it's too little too late
listen,
for that. Right, but I mean, it's certainly impressive. The hot streak that he was on and and accomplishing that 10 games in a row of at least 30 or more points. And, one of those games was against our Celtics. So, I mean, definitely
and
shout
we
out
won
and
that game.
congrats to him. Right. And we did. We got the W, which is the most important
That's
thing
it.
at the end of the day. That's all that matters. So,
A
but he
W.
definitely put on a show and
He dropped 47 on our ass.
almost gave us 50, man.
Yep.
I thought he was going to get 50, especially since he had like 38 at the end of the third quarter. So I thought, I'm like, yo, this dude's about to freaking give us 50 and stuff. I just hope we can get this W. And, we ended up getting the W. So,
We got
but
it,
no,
man.
definitely shout out to Steph Curry for sure on going on that streak when people thought the guy was actually like done and, not the same player anymore. So I'm glad he's proven all those naysayers wrong.
Yeah, those naysayers don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, they don't know basketball, right, John?
No,
They
not at
shouldn't
all.
be allowed to talk basketball if you're
No.
talking about Steph Curry like that.
No. Like, you need another career, man.
Right, or
If
another
that's
sport, right?
the
Do something
case.
else with your life, seriously.
For real. Magic's head coach Steve Clifford, he announced that he tested positive for coronavirus, so he'll be out for a minute. And so will De'Aaron Fox. He's expected to miss 10 to 14 days. He's in the health protocol. A lot of guys going down on that. Yeah. The Knicks signed Norvell Pell. He agreed to a multi-year contract with that team, and the Knicks are also on like a 9-game winning streak, and
that's
like
right, the hottest team in the NBA right now.
They're number 4 seed right now in the East. Donovan Mitchell, he'll be out for at least another week with the ankle sprain for the Jazz. And on to some Celtics news, man. Evan Fournier came back. He's back on the court. He came back against the Nets, where the Celtics lost 109-104. Jaylen Brown missed 2 games with what has to be, some nagging knee issues. But it's good to see him back.
And those left shoulder as well, that's starting to bother him too. So he has, 2 injuries, the knee and the shoulder.
Yeah. And Rob Williams continues to be out. So some of the scores that, we've seen since the last time we spoke, they played the Bulls. They lost 102-96, which was atrocious. And then they played the Suns, on a back-to-back, and they won that game 99-86. They played a good defensive game right there. They played the Nets, which I said already, lost 109-104. Some upcoming games for them on the 25th versus the Hornets, and then the 27th versus the Thunder, the 28th versus the Hornets again, and then the 30th versus the Spurs to finish out the month of
Yeah,
April
and they
right
actually
there
ended up losing that game to the Hornets on the 25th
on
as
the
well.
25th.
They got blown out pretty bad by 21. So the final score was 125 to 104. The Hornets ended up getting the victory in that game.
Right. Last I checked, we were like the number 6 seed. Those numbers are going to be
I think it
fluctuating.
was. Yeah, for sure.
So those numbers are
That
going to be
was
fluctuating.
important game for the Celtics because that's one of those teams that they're competing with for
Right.
top 6 seed in the playoffs. The Hornets. So
I saw
that's
a headline that came out that said the Celtics have the second easiest schedule remaining in the league. I'm like,
oh
who
yeah, I
the
saw
hell
that
cares
too.
if we're not going to win the games? Like, if we're not going to play as hard as we can to win these games. So we'll see what happens. So
Right.
far,
Hopefully they do take advantage of that, but you're right. So far they haven't been taking advantage of that.
right. Hopefully we get healthier, because our guys are not playing back-to-backs. They're not playing all our starters together yet. Hopefully that changes soon because we got to start getting in playoff gear, man.
Right. There's only 11 games left now. Like the
Yeah,
season's almost over, right? So,
the
right,
season's almost
this
over.
is this is the home stretch, right? We need to get things going, right, and get healthy. And I mean, we are getting healthier and stuff. The only person that missed their last game with the Hornets was Rob Williams,
Yeah,
but they still say they're not sure when he'll be back. Hope he comes back soon because they definitely need him on the court. For sure, miss him dearly.
yeah. That
Without
dude,
question.
he needs to like dip his body in the fountain of healing or some shit because this guy, he's always injured, man.
Right, I
Um,
know. So sad that he's always hurt and on the injury list.
yeah. But
So
he's
yeah,
been.
hopefully he can recover soon because right, we need him
We
back
need
out
him.
there. They're not the
We need
same
him.
team when he's not on the floor. They miss his, what he brings to the table and what he does for that team on both ends of the floor, particularly
Yeah.
defensively.
We also gotta stop with the turnovers because a lot of the turnovers are killing us,
Right, like
man.
what is going on with these turnovers, John?
I'm
Like
not.
it's getting ridiculous. It
Yeah,
really is.
yeah, it really is, man. And those turnovers are killing us, and we're losing games because of it.
Absolutely,
And that goes
absolutely.
for everybody. Like I seen Jason Tatum turn over the ball a lot.
Especially him. He's been
Marcus Smart.
turnover city.
Marcus Smart's been turning the
Him
ball
too.
over.
Him too. Right,
They
right.
need to figure out a way to shore that up right there because you're not gonna win anything, in the next month when we got to start heading into the playoffs and matching up with teams and stuff like that. But we'll keep you guys updated on that for sure. Any last thoughts on the Celtics?
I just think that they certainly need to but play better. I feel like they're not playing as well as they were in the 6-game winning streak. I still this inconsistency still continue to happen with this team. Um, I think that they're not really what I'm saying, not as focused as they
Mm-hmm.
should be and as locked in
Yep.
as it should be. That attention to detail still needs to improve. They need to do a better job of, like we said, not letting teams get into transition and getting easy baskets because that's what happens when you turn over the ball is, teams get easy buckets and, and go on runs to, when that happens. So they need to certainly do a better job of that. But I think a positive thing I've noticed is, that Kemba Walker has certainly been looking a lot better, and he seems that like his
He
legs
dropped
are
32
fresher.
against the
That
Suns.
burst, exactly right. That he's definitely seems like he's more explosive with his burst. When he drives to the basket. Had a really good games against his Suns. I thought that was the best game of the season for him, and he was certainly the
It's
player
the
of the
best
game.
game in a while, man, for Kemba. Dating back
Right,
to
right.
last year. He's dating back to last season and in the playoffs and all that. So, it's good to see him,
Absolutely.
looking like he's getting healthy. You know what I'm saying? And that knee is doing him right and stuff like that.
For sure. Definitely hope that continues to happen. With them be he is more consistent with that. I think the resting him on back to backs is starting to pay off and benefit him and the Celtics as well, because he's certainly a difference maker when he's on the court, and makes the team a lot better, adding that third um, scorer besides JT and JB. And I think that's a big thing with this team, is that when they have if they can have three scorers that can give you 20 to 25 a night consistently, that's certainly was going to put them in a good position to be successful come playoff time for sure. So, and I think we need to see more chemistry, more continuity. Like you said, they need to get healthier, and when guys need to play
Guys have to play
more
together.
minutes. Yeah, exactly. Right. Because that's certainly going to be big in the playoffs, because that's a big part of playoff basketball, is having that chemistry and continuity on the court on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, for sure, man. So we'll keep you guys updated on the Celtics for sure. Into the MLB we go. For the Red Sox, who right now are in the number one seed in the AL East right now. So the Red Sox have been doing their job. They've stayed on top of since they've lost the first three games. They've been on a tear. They've lost some games, but for the most part, they've looked really good. So they have a record of 13-9. Since the last podcast, man, the Red Sox played 8 games. There's so many games in baseball, man.
Jeez, that's a lot.
That's a
Wow,
lot.
8 games in 1 week.
8 games. So
Wow, that's crazy, man.
yeah, they played the White Sox twice. Actually 3 times. They lost the first 2 times, 3-2 and 5-1, and then they won the third time, 11-4. And then they played the Blue Jays a couple of times. They won the first time, 4-2, lost 6-3. And then they played the Mariners 3 times. They lost the first one 7-3, won the second one 6-5, and lost the last one 8-2. And their games that they got that are coming up, and actually they're playing on the 25th versus the Mariners. That should be the last game of that series. And then they go into the Mets on the 27th and the 28th. And then they end up with the Rangers at the end of the month. So those are the games that are going to come up right now. And like we said, man, the Red Sox are doing their thing and staying on top of their game. And it seems like they're a scrappy team, and they're not going to lay down like a lot of people thought, coming into the season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, Debbie brought up a good point about how this team really competes and really does actually have heart. Like, they actually play hard even when they get down, and and they're trying to make a comeback. They don't just easily give up and give up at bats, and they continue to grind and and then fight their way back. I think we've seen a lot of some inconsistencies, particularly this week with the team, in particular with the starting pitching. It hasn't been very good as it was at the very start of the season. That's gone down a bit. So hopefully they can
pick it back up,
do better and stuff. The hitting's gone down as well. So they certainly need to hit better, as well as pitch better with their starters. And yeah, their defense and fielding hasn't been as good either. From what I've noticed. So they definitely need to do a better job in that aspect of the game. But at least they're at least they're a team that's, going to actually, you know, be competitive and actually like battle and, uh, and play until the last out and play all 27 outs of the game, which is what good teams do. So, I'm glad that they've been taking advantage of that, and hopefully they continue to do that moving forward.
Yeah, man. Hopefully Red Sox keep, winning these games, man. On to the NHL. We're gonna go for the Bruins. Right now, they sit at the fourth in the East Division with a 27-13 record. Some of the games they've played, they've been doing well. They played the Capitals and they won 6-3. Since the last pod that we put out, they played the Sabres twice. They won two zip and then one again 5-1, and then they played a third time where they lost 6-3. Some of their upcoming games is on the 25th. They're playing the Penguins, and then the 27th they're playing the Penguins again, and then back to the Sabres for the wrap up at the end of the month on the 29th. So things look like their status quo, for the Bruins right now. Looks like they're working on things. At least they're winning games. You know what I'm saying? They're in a good spot.
That's true, John, but it also helps being able to play Buffalo, who's the worst team in hockey, 3 times in a row.
Well, isn't
So,
that what you're supposed to do when you play, the worst
yeah,
team?
of course,
You
John, but
know?
they're playing trash teams, but that's what you're supposed to do when you play teams that are trash and
That's right.
garbage. So you can only exactly whoop that ass. That's right.
That's smack.
Yep, dominate for sure. So, I think that's what we want to see from the Bruins, and certainly glad that that's the case. They're getting better play from the second and third lines. Those new additions have definitely paid off for them and starting to really make even more of an effect and impact on the team. As they needed it. Since they needed more production from those lines, and they've certainly been getting it since the new guys have been with the team. The goaltending has been good. Tuga continues to play well when he's on the ice and do a really good job goaltending, and the kid Swayman that continues to impress and and play well and always take advantage of his opportunities whenever they have him, at net. So I think that's, great that he's, been able to solidify, that second goalie position for them and be a good quality backup to have just in case if anything happens to Tuca, because we all know how Tuca rasses. You never know when something's gonna come up
Something's
with him.
liable to
Whether
happen.
exactly right, that's true for real. And I like to call Tuca an accident waiting to happen. Yeah, because that's pretty much what he's been, the last few years with the Bruins. So I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a really good goaltender when he's healthy and he has his head straight and and his focus. But I mean, that's not really been guaranteed and hadn't lasted too long within the last few seasons. So at least if anything happens to Tuca, worst comes to work, we still have Swayman who can be able to get the job done, and the team also like believes in him and has confidence in him as well. And I think that's big, when a team has that kind of belief in their goaltender that he can be able to get the job done and and help the team win, because the worst thing is in hockey is having a bad goaltender that the team knows that sucks and that doesn't have any belief in competence at all, because that just can bring a team all the way down to, the level that the Sabres are in. So, yeah, it's good to see the Bruins, continue to play well. Hopefully they keep that up as themselves. They're also getting ready to get to the playoffs soon. So, you know, we'll see how they do the rest of the season. But, I'm definitely like what I'm seeing from the Bruins as of late.
For sure, man. And last but not least, we're gonna get into the B Money Lifestyle. I think you have B Money Lifestyle people again this week. So who you got?
Yes, I do have the Money Lifestyle People of the Week again this week. So, the first person that I wanted to mention for the Be Money Lifestyle Person of the Week is a person that we previously mentioned in the beginning of the podcast on our NBA segment of the show. And that person is Terrence Clark, who, like we said before, is a Boston native from the city. Boston was an elite draft prospect, and what was projected to be a first round pick. Be selected somewhere in the first round, and unfortunately, he had tragically passed this week. After coming back from a workout in LA, working out with a teammate, in Kentucky that he played with in BJ Boston. He had, they had just left the workout, and then they got into a car accident that took his life. And it was sad because, BJ Boston was legit the car right behind him. So he saw his, good friend and college teammate pass away right before his eyes. So I know that's definitely one of the saddest things that I've heard, in sports in a while. So I just wanted to, commend him and, give him a shout out, because it's not every day that a prospect, from an NBA draft prospect, from the city of Boston, actually comes out and gets that close to making it into the NBA. I know he was, really close with some of the guys on the Celtics, including Jaylen Brown. I know they were really close and really good friends, and had a really good connection. So, and as well as the city, he was well known around the city. And what I've heard, he was a pretty good kid. Was always smiling, and always had a good, energy to him. So definitely just wanted to, recognize him more, and honor him in that way, and also give the more condolences and prayers to him and his family and all the loved ones that are trying their best to get through this really tough time and this really tough death that he had. So definitely shout out to Terrence Clark on on representing the city of Boston well. And the other person that I had for the Be Money Lifestyle Person of the Week is a very good friend of mine, one of my closest and most dearest friends, and who actually is having a big birthday today, and that person would be Lisa Castellano. So she is actually turning 30 as of the day, the big
Oh damn, you
30-0,
dropping the
dirty 30.
age? You dropped the age.
Yeah, I mean it's a big one. So yeah,
Oh
we had to
damn.
drop on the age, but she's already aware of that of her age and how old she's turning, and it's definitely a pretty big birthday, and significant birthday for sure when someone hits that age. And it's funny because I know when I was younger and stuff, and when I heard of people like turning 30, I was like, oh damn, that person is old. Like, you're 30, like damn, you're mad old. Like there. So, but now that we've grown up, and gotten older, I've realized that 30 is just really another age, and is honestly really not that old, and is still relatively young, to say the least. So, definitely, blessed to see her, get to that point and get to that age, and definitely, wish her many more years and birthdays to come, and many more blessings, and definitely look forward to celebrating, this, birthday, with her, pretty soon. So, it's definitely exciting, and happy to see that, she's
Well, happy
she's doing
birthday to
well,
Lisa, man.
and right, absolutely happy birthday, Lisa. And I'm glad that she is happy, with with her life, and definitely has many more years, and much more time to go. So definitely shout out to Terrence Clark and Lisa Castellano on being the Be Money Lifestyle People of the Week this week. And that's definitely that Be Money Lifestyle.
All right, man. And that's gonna be it for episode 58, man. Until episode 59, we'll catch you. Peace out, man.
So have a good week, everyone. See you next week, and tune in on Thursday on the IG Live for the draft. We will be on Instagram Live, covering the draft for you when the Patriots make their picks. So